Hey guys, this is Illusion Podfic, and today we're going to be reading Glowsticks and Bullet Holes by Hyperius. This is Chapter 12. It was awkward, frankly. The four heroes sat in Hal's apartment, going over the mission in an almost robotic way. And then they all left as quickly as they could. It was clear none of them quite wanted to be there, so none of them tried to stay there long. Luckily for them, it was a fairly simple mission. Infiltrate LexCorp, try not to get caught, and get out. Clark did find it humorous, though, how similar Bruce and Jason really are despite pretending to be polar opposites. They both knew what to do, knew how to get in, knew how to hide, knew where to go with the knowledge they received during their recon. They knew what the other was thinking. It was clear that they were partners, once. Trained together, worked together, and, they practically said it at the same time, they were going to have to split up to cover more ground. The building was a lot to cover in such a little time, so a team of two will go up, two will go down. They'd all keep in contact using the comm link, and afterwards they'd meet up again to discuss what they learned, and what the next few steps will be. Bruce tried to get Jason to team up with him, but Hal shot that offer down. The Green Lantern said him and Jason would be partners. Bruce wasn't happy, but Jason was. Clark was proud of Bruce, though. He listened when Jason spoke, taking his ideas into recommendation, and tried hard not to take over and dictate the mission, which he does have a habit of doing. And Jason, for his credit, kept his head and remained calm throughout most of the discussion. He tried. Hell, they both were trying so hard to be civil, to be kind. It gave Clark hope about their relationship. He knows how much Bruce misses his son, and he can only hope that they can make it work. Hal, though, was the problem. Or perhaps a soon-to-be problem. He was snarky and quick with Bruce whenever the man spoke. He was clearly frustrated and annoyed, and he looked like he wanted to punch the bat in the face the entire meeting. Frankly, it was annoying. Both Bruce and Jason were trying. Why was Hal attempting to get between them? Did he want them to remain at odds, angry and hostile? He'd need to have a word with Hal later. Or, well, another word. Clark wasn't the only one who was going to be trying to steal someone away for a word later. Bruce still wants to talk with Jason, one-on-one. He needs to speak with his son without the green annoyance getting in the way. He also needs to talk to his son about the green annoyance, and what exactly their relationship is. Seeing that fake engagement ring terrified him, and he still needs to soothe the doubt in his mind that claimed that Jason and Hal are romantically involved. He doesn't think he'd be able to handle that. Before they left, Bruce couldn't help himself. He needed to know the truth, and he doubts Jason will actually be honest with him. Jason is rarely honest with him, frankly. He exaggerates the truth or tells lies through his teeth, and he tells Bruce only what he thinks his father deserves to be told. Or he runs, just like he did now. There's no clear, honest communication. It makes it hard to trust him. And Bruce won't be able to handle it if Jason were to lie about this. He needs to know. So, on his way out, he discreetly placed both a microphone and a recording device on the wall, looking into the apartment. He will know the truth, and hopefully, Jason won't realize this necessary invasion of privacy. Maybe then the relationship can heal, and then maybe, one day, Bruce won't be forced to find out the truth this way. Red Hood, Batman, Green Lantern, and Superman crept into LexCorp, careful to stay out of sight of the security cameras. Jason took a deep breath when they came to a fork in the hallway. Okay, Superman and Batman go up. Me and GL will go down into the labs. Superman nodded. 4 hours, then we meet up on the rooftop. Right. Hood motioned for Hal to follow. Let's go. Hal followed Red Hood, glaring at Bruce from over his shoulder until the bat was out of sight. Batman held his gaze, head high. He was not going to let the Green Menace deter him from fixing his relationship with his son. Jason nudged his shoulder. You don't have to be so mean to him. Yeah, I do. The Green Lantern threw an arm over the kid's shoulder. He was mean to you, so now I'm mean to him. Besides, he doesn't trust Batman. He feels the man is gonna do something. Jason let out a surprised laugh and shook his head. He wasn't that mean to me. You've been having nightmares about him. Waking up screaming as you cry Batman's name. That's trauma, and you get trauma after getting hurt bad. So, what am I supposed to think? He hurt you. Bad. It's just... Jason frowned. Some shit happened, yeah, but he's getting better. Some shit. You always say some shit, but what shit? Jason was silent for a long moment, looking down at his shoes as he began to descend down the back stairs. It doesn't matter. It does matter, Jay. You matter. Hal followed behind him, frown tight on his face. You always brush it off. I won't let you this time. Hal scowled, rising above the steps to fly down and get in Jason's way. He forced Jason to stop his descent. You need to talk about it. You need to think rationally. I see you falling back in line with him just because he's back. You're playing the good little son. You don't have to. He reached out, gripping Jason's shoulder tightly. I know I don't have to. Then why are you? Jason huffed, shoving past Hal as he forcefully made his way down the steps. Because I mean, it doesn't fucking matter right now. He shook his head. This isn't the place to have this discussion. If you really want to do this, we'll do it later, okay? Hal huffed, glaring at Jason's back before falling. Fine, but we will talk about this later. He remembers Jason's nightmares, remembers their talk and watching how terror overtook Jason when he even thought about seeing Bruce again. He was afraid, genuinely afraid of Bruce. At least a little bit, but now he's just civil, going along with Bruce's plan, acting like everything's okay. Everything is most certainly not okay, as far as Hal is concerned. He's just nervous Jason will stuff his emotions back into that little box of his and pretend everything is okay to get Bruce's validation and forgiveness. Hal gets it. He's done the same thing. No way will Hal let Jason make the same mistakes. Red Hood turned the corner and paused, muscles tensing as he fell back into mission mode. We got something. Something? I mean, if you count a giant boulder of what looks like kryptonite something, then yes. Jason rolled his eyes, turning to face Hal. Want to steal it and check it at Soup's? Kind of. Hal stepped forward, but was careful not to get too close. It was most likely 100% connected to some form of alarm system, and Hal wouldn't be the one to mess up this mission. How do we get it? Good question. Jason inched forward, looking over the large rock. Where did he even get this much kryptonite? Maybe he's creating it, something like synthetic kryptonite? Jason hummed and thought, never knew that was possible. He let out a huff. Well then, he bit his lip. If he has this, I wonder what else he's got. Yeah, Green Lantern grinned, pushing his concerns over Jason to the back of his mind. Put aside, but not forgotten. Looks like it's gonna be an exciting night. Batman and Superman moved quietly, walking up towards the should-be-empty offices. Hopefully, they'll be damning paperwork they could turn into the justice system. Except Superman heard voices. Voices that shouldn't be there. Someone's here. Batman frowned. Who? Sounds like Luther and a guest? Luther? Why would he be here so late? Batman's eyes narrowed in suspicion, and they continued their advance silently, blending into the darkened corners of the building. They crept until they were just outside the doorway where the two villains were talking. Mr. Luther. The voice was softer than Lex's, almost teasing. When I said we should open a cross-country trafficking network, I wasn't expecting this. Luther hummed. Isn't this better, though? You'll have your trafficking business, and we, will have an expansive network of villains, an alliance that will actually work. Like the Legion of Doom, or whatever it's called. Better. One that would actually be able to take on the Justice League. Structured better, larger networking, more people involved, expansive, put across the country so one hit won't be able to destroy it. The man scoffed. I suppose, if that's what you believe. The dot was heavy in his voice, but Luther ignored it. I'm sending out some party favors and invitations tonight. And that includes me. Why? Clark could almost hear Luther smile. Isn't it obvious? I wanted you to be here to witness our first successful run. He smiled. My labs have created something that will ensure no one would doubt how serious we are. We will prove that they should listen to us, and they will be almost forced to our network. The other man scoffed. If you think some fancy toy will keep some villains from doubting us, you've obviously never been to Gotham. Gotham, Black Mask. It must be. Batman stiffened. This is it. This is the proof. Proof that they're working together. That they're doing something so much more devious than was initially believed. But who's really surprised when Lex is involved? Alarms began to go off, and Batman swore, "Lantern!" Of course the lantern would mess up the entire night. The office began to close off, heavy metal falling from the ceiling to protect whoever is inside. Not that it stopped the Man of Steel. Superman was about to burst through the steel when Batman raised a hand on his shoulder. Not yet. They needed to learn more, see who else they're speaking to, who else is involved in this lethal game of chess. If they arrest them now, regardless, they would both most likely be able to work their way out with a little bribe to the judge and a fancy lawyer. They needed more evidence. They needed more information. Let's go to the roof. Hopefully Hood and Lantern will be there. We'll get out before Luthor's army gets in and regroup. Superman looked reluctant, but agreed. Together, they fought their way to the roof. Jason and Hal were not having as much luck. You had to fucking touch it. I'm sorry, Hal whined, looking as if he wanted to cry. It was just so shiny. Just because it's shiny doesn't mean you touch it. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was rigged to the alarms. Jason shoved Hal as they ran. Dumbass. Hal threw up a green shield when bullets sprayed. Shush, I get it. Let's just get out of here, share what we found, and then place the blame on, a rat. A rat in LexCorp? Yes. A pause. I mean, no? Jason really did wonder how Hal had made it this far sometimes. Idiot. He was smiling before pulling out his guns. Let's do this, dumbass. You got it, jackass. The security tape would later show Green Lantern and Red Hood working together like they'd been partners for years. Their actions were chaotic, extreme, and perhaps even a little rough around the edges. But they were effective and swift. The punches landed where they were meant to land, and no bullet was wasted. Green Lantern used constructs straight from a picture book, trains and bulldozers, robots and vacuums, but they worked well, and it was fun as hell to use them. Hal looked over at the laughter in Jason's eyes as he watched the fight. Knew he'd keep fighting the kindergarten toys for the rest of the time Jason's here, just to see him smile. Think you can keep up, Hoodie? As if I'd ever fall behind. His fingers burned as if there was lava enveloping his hand. The ring was constricting, burning, filling every cell of his body with rage that burned bright. No longer the familiar emerald, but a new, brighter red that filled his very soul with the need for bloodlust, death, revenge, and pain. Pain, hurt, kill, bleed. He needs it, craves it like a drowning man craves oxygen. He feels like he can't breathe. He feels like he can't think. A new little voice controlling him, forcing him to just do every little thing he has learned to control. It feels like he is unraveling, and the more he looks down at the bloody, bruised, and beaten form of Hal Jordan, the more this crimson anger washes through him. He wants the world to burn. He wants everyone to hurt. He wants the world to suffer, like how it made Hal suffer, him suffer. He screamed, waves of red bursting from his heart. Then 2 arms forced their way around him, and he hears the voice of the man who did this, the man who's responsible for this, the man he will kill. Alright guys, and that is the end of chapter 12 of Glowsticks Simple Holes by Hyperius. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next chapter.